I have a feeling you're about to get kicked, mate, and I can't wait.
Oh.
Looking for me?
Please.
What do you want?
Oh, I was so close. Was this close? Ah, it's coming, though. It's coming.
Look who's home.
Yeah.
Why don't you just go back where you came from? Things were great before you came.
I bet. Again! There it is. Ah, life is great. Life is good. We have all we need, really, don't we? You alright? Bad smell? Did he fart before? Did he poo his pants before? You gotta imagine it happens sometimes. Oh, hello. We did get the last episode of Angel. Teasing we were coming here.
Students, I present to you.
Oh, nice hat.
I think she means
Oh.
Hello, boy.
so much sexier than the outfit from his last job.
What happened to the bar?
I'm imagining having sex with him right now.
Inside voice, mate.
Contributions from all cultures, making our culture stronger.
Nice. Yeah.
What a load of horse hooey.
What?
Yeah, Thanksgiving isn't about blending of two cultures. It's about one culture wiping out another.
I mean...
Okay, now for some of that, you were channeling your mother? I think that's why she doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving or Columbus Day.
Good for her.
You know, the destruction of the indigenous peoples. But it sounds a little overwrought, but really, she's right.
Nice. Do I like your mum? Maybe I do.
I love a ritual sacrifice. To commemorate a past event, you kill and eat an animal. It's a ritual sacrifice with pie.
Why does anything have to die? That's my question.
What's she doing? Xander said he was gonna dig. I want to see Xander dig.
Ceremonial.
Well, it bites.
How silly.
She's not rippling at all.
There you go, Anya. Relax.
Look at him.
Very diggy.
Uh-oh. Bye. You alright, mate? That's rough.
I'm okay.
Not a solid foundation. Mate, what are your bones made of, by the way? You take everything and you just brush it off. Is it like a burial site? Is that what it is? I'm sensing from the music playing. I really hope, because he's in this show, he doesn't revert back to Angel in Buffy.
Huh? Is there something out there? Oh, no.
She senses Angel. Spidey senses tingling. Angel and Riley gonna meet, I wonder.
A lot of lucky moms are going to be getting
Brimming baskets of dirty laundry.
So not fair.
You have a mum?
They all get a family holiday just because they can go home to their families.
Oh, man.
I should have my own Thanksgiving. I can cook the meal just like my mom does, have all you guys over. It'll be great.
It's a sham. It's all about death.
It is a sham, but it's a sham with yams.
Do you know what? Like, this is the thing. Because most people don't care about the reason the holiday, whatever holiday it is, exists. All anyone really cares about in this capitalistic hellhole is a day off. And an excuse to spend it with people they like. And an excuse to eat whatever they want and have a nice time. I feel like we need to normalize the idea of having a nice time and getting together with people we like. I know it's like, you know, not necessarily getting together with people you like. It can be getting together with family that you might not like, is what it is. But I feel like what most people like about these sorts of things is the food and the gift giving or whatever it might be, depending on the holiday. And it's like, like Buffy's talking about getting everybody together and cooking and spending time together, which is obviously nice. It's warm, it's community, it's friendship. And it's like, you don't need a holiday with horrible originations to do that. You can just do that, you know what I mean? Because that's what you want. And Willow's kind of being like, oh, but we agreed not to. And it's like, I get that, that's fair. Maybe don't, right? If you want to take a stance, and like, because I completely get that. Having a holiday that exists for the reason it does, like Thanksgiving, is gross. I know a lot of Americans agree. I don't think that's, well, I don't know. It doesn't feel as if that should be controversial. It's objectively a bad thing as to why it exists. Anyway, don't do it on Thanksgiving Day and do what you would want to do the day after. And it's like a symbolic, I'm not celebrating on Thanksgiving. I'm not celebrating that, but I can still do the thing I want to do and get friends or family or whoever together and cook and have a nice time. Like, you know what I mean? It is just, I feel like nowadays, contextually, again, like, and I phrased it as kind of a joke, but not really, in the capitalistic hellhole that we have, where we get so little time off, so little community, so little time to actually have an excuse, or I say excuse, but have the time off from this 9 to 5 that most people have. You know, I've talked about it a lot. I'm not going to repeat it here about how society today gives us so little time for recreation, so little time to cultivate friendships and relationships with family because we don't have the time, right? And we have so little money that we have to work so much that, you know, and then you have to kind of work out how many, I don't know, meals out you can afford because you can't do it all the time. It's too expensive. And who has the time to be doing that all the time anyway? Do you know what I mean? All of these reasons that mean that the boons and the good of these events, these holidays, are so much better and feel so much better, so much more coveted, because a day where we get to do nothing and drink and eat as much as we want is so good. And then, you know, I think it's obviously a sensitive subject, you know, something like Thanksgiving and why it exists is so horrible. And I think it's valid to talk against it and say we shouldn't be celebrating this. But the way society works is that that's when the day off happens, right? So I almost can't really blame people in the modern world today for taking that reprieve, because it's the one day that society collectively goes, I say one day, but you know, these holidays are the one days that society has collectively said you can do whatever you want on that day. With that context in mind, you can hold in your heart derision and disgust and disagreement with why a holiday might exist and still celebrate on that day. Like, I can still see how that can coexist. At the same time, I mean, we don't obviously celebrate Thanksgiving. If I were American, I could see myself not partaking in, you know, the festivities for that reason too. Like, I think collectively we should all do better, you know, to balance out the scales of it. You know, I think Native American cultures and people should be treated with equality and fairness. I don't know if they necessarily are all the time. Like, I don't think they are. But, you know, at the same time, in a just, fair world, we would abolish Thanksgiving and holidays like it. And I'm not just, you know, talking about American holidays. I'm sure there are holidays all around the world that, you know, have similar poor foundations, originations, right? And we can come up with another one to replace it on a different day, maybe with different traditions. You know, look, oh God, let's just create a fairer world that means that we don't. Sorry, I'm laughing because now it's just getting too much, right? You can't. This is the injustice in the world, where we have a fairer world where like days off aren't so coveted, that not partaking in our holiday feels so much like a gut punch. There's no easy fix necessarily because of the unfairness of the world today.
I smell a roasting turkey and I'm 8 years old.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Having that to look forward to.
And normal and human. That's what I mean. The things that we actually enjoy and cover about these things typically isn't the reason that it exists. It's for the things that come with it. It's the smell of a turkey or whatever it might be. It'll be interesting to see how this episode goes and how much it goes, because there is a certain argument that it's like, well, you're justifying a holiday that's barbaric. You know what I mean? Which is fair too, valid too. So we'll see where it comes down on.
Everything's different now.
We could not invite Anya.
What?
She and Xander seem pretty tight lately.
Yeah, you can't really exclude her, man.
Isn't that the whole point of Thanksgiving? Everybody has a place to go.
Oh, no. Oh, no, buddy. Yeah, I just wish the heart of Thanksgiving in what you said there of everyone has a place to go. And how poignant it is that we go on this wanting lad. Not everyone does. God, the state of America and immigration and the perception of the division at the moment in America. Oh, there we go. All right, still on the hunt.
Mama's boy.
It's a nasty cough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, mate, blisters, what's going on?
Xander, what are you doing?
Oh, what happened? Oh, what have you caught?
Well, you can't go to work.
Oh,
What was down there?
you could catch it.
We'll die together. It's romantic.
You're a strange girlfriend.
Oh, is that a big leap? Great.
It's a...
Uh-oh. Oh. Well, don't love in an episode that is about Thanksgiving and questioning the holiday, that the first act of the Native American is violence. And before anyone, because I know I've dealt with this before in comments, before anyone goes like, well, Tyler, it's because of this, and yeah, right, okay, stop. It's a show that's written by people, okay? Like, I can't stress enough that that was a writing decision, right? And there's a way, considering what came before, about being careful and considerate and aware of this holiday, the problems with it, to then have a problematic depiction of violent, the first image be a violent depiction of them, which goes to large extent to paint them as violent and only violent, which we know that they are not. That is a pretty poor way to write that into the episode from writers who are clearly aware of the sensitivity of the subject.
The coroner's office said she was missing an ear, or maybe an ear-harvesting demon.
Yeah. Now we're conflating with the dialogue. Native Americans with demons, okay. Like, again, Tyler, it's a supernatural show. She's just talking about... Yeah, I know, I get it. I'm just... it's not... I don't know if with an episode focused on Thanksgiving, where you have introduced the holiday with this moral quandary focused on the holiday itself, I don't know whether it was a good idea to then have the supernatural element be a depiction of a Native American person being violent and taking people's ears. Just don't make that choice. You think you'd want to err away from that, wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
What if it was self-inflicted, like Van Gogh?
Van Gogh. Hey, we are, mate, me and you.
The pumpkin pie filling.
And at some point you are going to tell me about the murder.
One track mind, I love it, Giles.
Chumash Indians. They were indigenous to this whole area.
Yeah, referring to them as Indians isn't ideal either, really, is it?
If you would like to get by in American society, then you are going to have to follow our traditions.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, way to, okay. Way to assert it's the American way or the highway. Yeah, you brutally murdered the indigenous people and now it's your rules, huh? Okay. Yeah, it's weird. It kind of started the episode with this like very kind of almost progressive, hopeful thing of like melding of cultures. Good, awesome, great. And the episode seems to be taking the tack of like doubling down more so on actually no, America, you know what I mean?
And keep your hands off the food.
Try and restrain myself from eating uncooked potatoes.
How is your roasty, Giles, mate? Because that's a weapon in itself. The ability to cook a roast potato, trust me. God.
Ominous vision about Buffy, it's all terribly vague.
Yeah, what was that about?
That she's not helpless and it's not your job to keep her safe.
I don't want it to get in the way.
And you're also a little bit of a nervous boy. That's fair.
It has a fondness for ancient weapons.
Hey, maybe let's give it a chance. Maybe we'll get to a place where actually it's, a bit better.
To be on the outside looking in at what I can. I'd forgotten how bad it feels.
Yeah, distance was maybe helping a little bit, not helpful to be back here. Yeah, Spike kind of being the vehicle for the depiction of the outsider, which is kind of almost problematic. Like, sorry, I'm not trying to point out. they're kind of, he is that vehicle for, that kind of, it represents almost the transition from one scene to another, the voiceover of Buffy. As we see Spike for the first time this episode, it's like, yeah, it's a time where everyone comes together and no one's alone. And then it's like flashes on him and he is, entwined in the story is Thanksgiving, the American people, what has become of America, the relationship with the, Native American indigenous people of this land. And in the makeup of the episode, the vehicle for the outsider, the one being shunned is Spike. And what is Spike representing? The Native American. And what does that do? It conflates the Native American with Spike. What is Spike? He is a cold, unfeeling representation of evil, and it's like just choosing to do that and how you're representing what you're representing. Yeah, it shows a distinct lack of thought.
Buffy? Hey, Buffy.
Riley?
Riley.
How's Angel gonna see him?
From? I didn't see you at all.
Oh, just across the street and a couple of blocks down.
Hi.
Willow's little face.
I'm just gonna let you two. Look, they're selling coffee in the coffee shop. Yum.
Yeah, let's go. Willow, nice. Cafe. Oh God.
Evil, yeah.
That's one way of doing it, mate.
I'm not evil. I'm here to help Buffy.
It's not great. Sorry. The fact that he has to...
If she sees me, it'll be worse.
See, I don't get that. Sorry, my stuff.
Yeah.
Everything's different now.
Kinda.
I'm here to protect Buffy. I don't have a whole lot of time for personal stuff.
You're gonna ask about Riley, aren't you?
If you can just tell me, who's that guy?
Nah.
I'm building a fort out of my mashed potatoes.
Sounds like fun.
You wanna come?
I'm a great cook, in theory. I've eaten a lot.
We always do Thanksgiving at my grandparents' house.
Rain check.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
After dinner, we all go for a walk down by the river with the dogs.
Of course you do.
Get out!
Duh.
This is where I belong.
Out! I've been doing a lot of reading.
Nice.
In control of my own power now.
Yeah. Harmony. Perfect. Beautiful. By the way, style. Love that.
You don't mean that.
Harmony. Stay strong.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do.
No, come on. You can do it. Damn.
No.
Yes, Harmony.
I'm powerful, and I'm beautiful, and I don't need you to complete me.
No. Oh. Hello.
You had that in our bed?
Dude, you tried to stake her.
You wouldn't do it.
You did it to me, remember?
All right.
Nice. I love that we're not letting that go.
Can I have someone to eat?
Beautiful. All right.
Father?
Oh, God. That's brutal. I can't show that. That's brutal.
For the avenging spirit to carve out justice.
God. I don't really want to give a kick in. This feels weird.
You slaughtered my people.
Yeah.
This is a great day for you.
Can we choose peace? Huh?
Ready for the takedown, and I stopped. And Native American.
Ah.
We don't say Indian.
Oh,
Oh, right, yes.
sweet. Okay.
I was behind on the terms. Still try not to refer to you lot as bloody colonials.
I like my evil like I like my men. Evil, not all mixed up with guilt and the destruction of an indigenous.
Okay.
Has killed innocent people.
It's a bit more complicated, isn't it? I mean, this is the thing. Like, look. You know, we have Buffy correcting Giles there. You know, like, look, at the end of the day, if the episode is kind of acting as a vehicle to try to educate and you know, introduce foundationally the idea of this subject matter in a way that is a little bit uncouth, to then flip it on its head, cool. You know what I mean? Especially in the 90s. God, you still have people that aren't, again, I mean, you know, as so many of these issues or these conversations are still kind of issues today, was back in the 90s, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I just worry that it's a supernatural threat. People do not turn into ravens, right? It is clearly a spirit of some kind. Is there going to be any alternative other than vanquishing it?
Has killed innocent people.
Yeah, Giles. Sorry, I realize Giles is the mouthpiece for this. And it's that thing, isn't it, of like, you can talk all day about, you know, Native Americans being violent, but it's like, who attacked first? If someone comes into your home, right, and starts murdering your family members, are you just gonna sit by? Isn't it the American way to pick up your firearm and shoot him in the face? Like, that's what I so often hear so many Americans talking about. Well, we need them. We need them because what if someone comes into our house and we need to, you know, defend ourselves? But, you know, there's so many, I feel like, Americans that talk that way that don't understand and that will talk about the violence of Native Americans. But it's like, yes, they acted appropriately considering the acts that were being done to them. God, I mean, do we want to attach it to something happening in the world today? Do we want to talk about Israel and what they're doing to Palestinians and all of this? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? It's like, that's not the fucking issue, first of all. But it's like, it's such an easy concept to wrap your head around. And, you know, when you start looking at the 70-year history and how much Palestinians have tried peace, have tried talking, and have proven so often to be not the issue in the conflict. It's so weird, isn't it, how so many people want to start talking about who's being violent when a person of colour is involved. When actually all that's being done is that someone or a people is resorting and having to resort to violence to defend themselves when they are being attacked. And it's so weird, isn't it? It's because, like, there may be people who are listening to what I'm saying here and be tempted to say, so you're promoting and supporting violence. No, absolutely not. But if somebody attacks me, am I supposed to not defend myself? Of course I can. Like, anyone with a brain and empathy can look at that situation and be like, well, they attacked you first, of course you can defend yourself. And because I'm using violence, does that mean that I should be condemned? No. Same thing with Native Americans. It's funny, and by funny I mean horrifying, how often the tables are turned and the narrative is controlled when people of colour are involved. When someone who is not white is involved, white people seem to want to do whatever they can to make white people not the bad guys. And that is a issue that is perpetrated and continually perpetrated today all across the world. Sorry, I'm not coming for Giles. Giles is, you know, like I say, the mouthpiece for that piece of dialogue. But it bears talking about because it happens too often. And going back to the beginning of the episode, and sorry, I'm not even going to go at the episode at this point. I'm using it as a launching point to talk about it. And I kind of hope at this point the episode will go into it, right? It seems to be, I don't know, a bit on a knife's edge going back and forth of like where it wants to kind of, it seems to want to have a conversation about it. So I'm curious actually as to where the conversation of the episode goes. But it seems like Giles, it'll be interesting to see what Buffy comes back with, but it seems as if Giles, like I say, is the mouthpiece for that. And it seems as if it's trying to array both sides. And it's like, you can't do that. Giles quipped a minute ago about Americans being colonial, which to be fair is pretty rich coming from an English guy, right? Like, we are the worst of the lot. Like, I'm not trying to rag on Americans and say we haven't done anything. Like, I'm just, you know, this is in America. It's an American topic. So that's why I'm talking about it. English people, I am very critical also of my own heritage. And it would be remiss of me to say or not say at this point, by the way, I'm very well aware that, you know, there are millions and millions of good Americans, of empathetic, kind, beautiful, you're beautiful. Beautiful Americans. I know that. I know, you know what I mean? So, like, please don't take this as me ragging on all Americans. I'm not. But God, with a population so high, of course you've also got millions of idiots. So have we. We've got millions of idiots, right? Like, this is a thing that happens in every single country, all around the world, because that's humanity at the end of the day. But there are also patterns of, like I say, radical racism, and the continued and constant justification of white people and their crimes, and kind of a lack of context. Quite often when it's convenient, you know, to kind of, like I say, change the narrative, which it's important not to do. You've got to be looking at context.
Has killed innocent people.
You don't have a ricer?
No, she didn't come back at it. It's a shame.
Did you catch the part about the innocent people?
Okay.
And I do want to stop him. I just like to find a non-slay way to do it.
Nice, I like the instinct. Hey, we'll see. Meaty subject matter. Let's go.
Hey,
Peace?
peace. Atrocities?
You said you were going to get fresh ones.
Atrocities?
She must be peaceful.
Oh, they were peaceful, all right. They were fluffy indigenous kittens till we came along.
Yeah.
I like mushy peas.
Mushy peas are awesome.
So what happened to the Shumash?
How about imprisonment, forced labor?
Yeah.
And it gets better. The few Shumash who tried to rebel were hanged.
Yeah.
Men, women, and children.
So Hoos wasn't kidding about the rightful vengeance routine.
Okay, there we go. That's the, we got that little look from Giles. The rebuttal to his good. I mean, sorry, yeah, like, again, like, as with all my videos, you know, I take kind of dialogue and, you know, plot points, whatever, and I use those things to launch off and talk about stuff. I want to just kind of stress, because I know sometimes it's lost in translation, like, I appreciate that the episode, I'm not trying to say the episode is bad for bringing the thing up, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying that the thing is bad from this context, whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm kind of trying to do. Because at the end of the day, like, media, TV, film, books, and there's ways to do it. There's bad ways to do it, good ways to do it. Sure. Depends how you kind of handle the topic or whatever it might be. But, like, media is a vehicle for opening and educating and having conversations, right? And that's a good thing. But yeah, it can go over into territory. Is there any other way they could have had this conversation without depicting the Native American immediately in the way they did? I feel like so. Like, is it the perfect way to do it? Maybe not. But the way the episode seems to be going, Willow coming in here with the books and talking the way she did, rebutting Giles in the way that she just did, giving the context, which I just wax lyrical about, which is great. Because I can imagine, like, back in the 90s, that could have been a device to kind of, like, make people watching who perhaps held, poor opinions on it, going like, oh, how barbaric, how violent they are, Native Americans. And then almost have Willow coming in here and dressing the audience down a little bit, you know what I mean? And making you feel guilty. Rightfully so, validly so. for holding that opinion and perhaps being a little bit less educated on it, right? Like, maybe that was the goal, which is that bad? I wouldn't necessarily say so.
Cultural Partnership Center really didn't stress any of that stuff.
And it is so often the case that, like, Native Americans, indigenous cultures are quite often peaceful, and more peaceful than Western culture. And quite often, you know, we are the barbaric ones, right? Coming in with violence and our technology.
And it's up to us to stop him.
Yes, but after dinner, right?
Are you sure we shouldn't be helping him? Well, okay, no.
Okay.
Bring the atrocities to light.
Well, if the history books are full of them, I'd say they already are.
Oh, giving his land back.
You know,
It's
we
not
could
exactly ours to give.
Isn't that the problem?
I think you just want to slay the demon, then go la la la.
Yeah, it's very much back and, you know, Giles and Willow are the vehicles for that conversation. Go on, but Buffy, what you got to say?
I have to baste.
Fair and valid, mate, eh? Important stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the problem. I mean, he was outside watching it, I guess. Can we settle his spirit in a peaceful way? Well, we'll see.
I have reason to believe that Buffy herself may be in particular danger from this menace.
And also you got Angel and the Vision.
You mean?
That's not terribly stealthy of him.
Mm.
And this is why I think we should all keep a level head in this.
I feel like Buffy knows he's there. I feel like she knows and she should kind of like, it'll come out when he wants to. This is the thing. And look, I was talking about it at the beginning and I think my opinion was coloured based on the way it seemed to be going at the time and the depiction at the time. And I talked about, is this the story they wanted to go with for Thanksgiving? But it's very, like Giles said there, and, you know, Willow and Giles, it's like, well, if it's in the history books, is it not there for people to read about? You know, I mean, the point being, people don't read about it, you know. It's not ideal, right? So people don't know, and this kind of perception can persist, right? But that's what I mean, is that, you know, I was talking about, like, well, is the answer to never talk about it? Because I don't think that's the answer either. We shouldn't not be talking about it either. So it's like, is the show really wrong for giving it a go and doing it this way? I guess the only thing that makes me kind of go is like that initial introduction of the Native American immediately slitting throats, mate. And yeah, they flip it and they're doing some good stuff as we get into it. But that initial, like, I feel like there was a better way to go about that, perhaps. You know, like, is it a huge deal? Am I gonna die on the hill about it? Like, no. Like, you know, in the writing room, conceptually, when you're trying to, you know, when because they must have been talking about it of like, okay, Thanksgiving's coming up. Do we want to tackle it? Do we want to go into that subject matter, delve into it, and really get into the nuances and the nitty gritty? I think at that point of the conception of the story, it's like, and they obviously clearly went around and were like, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, good. I agree with that. I think that's a really bold, like, we should be talking about it. Because I feel like so often it's misrepresented or there's people with opinions that don't perhaps reflect, you know, history or like an educated, nuanced kind of take on it, right? I don't think like I say, the solution is to not talk about it. When after that point, you're kind of going, okay, how do we tackle it? I think perhaps there was maybe a better way to go about it. In all of the drafts, I feel like there was a better draft to kind of go about the story. But the intent in the story, at least from what I see so far, I think is good. And I'm going to go back on what I said at the beginning and say that I think it's important that these things are talked about. You know, the solution isn't to bury them. And I think I disagree with Giles. He's talking about like, well, it's in the history books, we've done enough. And it's like, no, I don't think so. Especially when I feel like it's still a thing today that is poorly handled or poorly perceived. And I mentioned, you know, the immigration stuff in America today and you know, there's still the racism that happens. It's still an issue. Are Native Americans treated as they should be? I don't think they are all the time.
Smallpox. I was going to say smallpox.
We still don't know what we're gonna do.
Let's give him some land. I'm sure that'll clear everything right up.
I don't love that Giles been given this role. You're souring me at Giles, mate. Don't do it. Come on.
I'm sure that'll clear everything right up.
Get rid of the tone and be more sincere, and that'd be great, mate, yeah.
Hey, can we come rocketing back to the part about me and my new syphilis?
Make you blind and insane, but it won't kill you.
Yeah.
The smallpox will.
Oh.
Salt. Onion?
That's the stuffing.
Oh, God.
And after a century of unrest, he saw you as one of his oppressors.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, yeah. And sees one of you as his oppressors. We are not the same humans who did that all that time ago. But again, injustices still happen in regard to this stuff today. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's more that could be done. But I mean, you know, like my solution would be to kind of, I mean, you know where I am on society, capitalism. A restructuring of all of it would be great. I think indigenous cultures that focus more on being in touch with the world and nature is more intrinsic to where we should be as humanity than it is to be so focused on industry and technology. And yeah, I'm not denying that those things have afforded us a lot in some ways, but there is that more existential question of, was that the right path? Was that the right way to go? What have we lost as a result of that? I mean, you know, we're backing ourselves into these corners where the way of life of indigenous cultures is getting eclipsed, and is that the right thing? No, of course not. Are they kind of approaching life and existence in a better way than we are? I think there's an argument to say yes, for sure. So it's like I say, you know, what's the option really? Tyler, well, okay, you're saying all this stuff. What would you say we do? And I mean, I have a platform and I talk about it all the time. It's not necessarily from this angle, but yeah, it's, you know, we've backed ourselves into a corner where our way of life and our culture in this capitalistic, industrial, technological world is so anathema to that could be considered the way of life of a more indigenous culture. And alas, you know, the two do not work in tandem, symbiotically, side by side. And the solution for us would be to you know, start trying to unpick that thread, which is what I talk about all the time. I think that's the solution.
So we take this guy out.
That's sort of the question before the court.
Mm-hmm.
He's a vengeance demon. You don't talk to vengeance demons. You kill them.
I didn't know you felt that way.
What?
Oh, God.
A demon has to do what a demon has to do.
Again with the killing.
Oh, right.
Figuratively speaking, or bind it, or...
Oh, we're suddenly a family on Thanksgiving arguing about social issues or politics or contentious issues.
You know that I didn't mean you.
I don't think anyone appreciates the truth of the...
Yeah, do we get I don't know, where do people fall on this?
This is no good.
Go on.
It needs more condensed milk.
Okay, sorry, I should see that coming more. It keeps happening.
Are you sure the solution is pie?
Over bickering and confusion, I'll take pie.
This is what I mean. I feel like it's kind of simplifying the show, trying to simplify a more complex issue of you got to either kill the spirit or find another option. And it's like, yeah, I'll be interested to see what the episode actually finally comes down on and how I feel about it. I do feel like it's kind of trying too hard, like I say, to simplify a complex, nuanced issue into an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer supernatural show where it's like, yeah, but you have made it a supernatural entity, and are you not now shoehorning yourself into, okay, we can only go one of two ways? Is that the best vehicle for this story? Do you know? Yeah. So I suppose it brings back that topic of conversation of like, yes, we should be talking about this stuff. The answer is not to stifle it, but also in the capacity of the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is that the best package for this kind of story? If you can't do it justice, should you do it? That's perhaps a better way to frame it.
Help me.
Oh, God.
Invite me in.
No.
Very unlikely.
I'm safe. I can't bite anyone.
It's true.
Tell him what I did.
You said you were gonna kill me, then Buffy.
We don't know that he...
Yes, bad, but let's skip. Get to the part where I couldn't bite you.
We don't know that this is gonna last. You shouldn't invite him in.
Spike had a little trip to the vet, and now he doesn't chase the other puppies anymore. I can't even hit people.
Wow. You can't do violence at all.
I've got information about the soldier boys you were fighting.
He's not burning up. Leave him out here.
And I feel I'm being mistreated. I'm too hungry to remember everything.
Is this the start of his turn to like goody Spike? Does he not even get his soul back? Does he just have to learn because he can't? Like, is it as a societal thing? Like he can't actually with violence and the ability to feed himself taken away, does he have to like socially learn to... No, because Buffy and him have like a romantic thing, right? She wouldn't... I just feel like that's too much to ask. Yeah, no. He must get his soul back. We'll see, I guess.
You do have brandy, don't you?
I wouldn't say no to a brandy.
What's wrong?
Who else fits this pattern?
Just a small brandy.
Dean. Some nice, non-judgmental way to, kill him.
I'm not on board.
Well, what choice do we have?
That's the problem of the show. Yeah.
Okay, it's eating me up. A quarter cup of brandy and let it simmer.
Someone put a stake in me.
You got a lot of volunteers in here.
The preferred term is...
You won. You came in and you killed them and you took their land. That's what conquering nations do. I came, I conquered, I felt really bad about it.
Yeah, because time has moved on and these guys now aren't the conquerors. They have to live with what their ancestors did, which were like modern sensibilities and better education and more intelligence generally as a result of better education means an increase in empathy, which means that we recognize that it was bad. And now we're in a situation where it's like, oh no, what do we do about this? That's the, I get where he's coming from. He's a 100-odd-year-old vampire without a soul, but there's your answer, Sir Spike.
The history of the world is not people making friends.
No, Giles. This is what I mean. You kind of have to draw a line in the sand and go forward and act better. We need to be better than our ancestors, right? Cut through kind of what Spike's saying, and he's got a bit of a point. You can't, but it's still important to talk about it, recognize why and how it was bad, acknowledge the situation we're in today as a result of it, and undo and untangle that bad if we can. That's still a worthy and a valid goal.
We don't want to fight anyone.
I just want to have Thanksgiving.
You exterminated his race. What could you possibly say?
Some of that made sense.
I made a lot of these points earlier, but it's fine.
Yeah, and I would like to point out that Spike is wrong, by the way. Yeah, it's this thing, isn't it, of like what Spike's talking about is like the only option, like it's too far gone. So there's no point even. You killed his entire race. You can't possibly say anything or do anything. So the only thing left is kill or be killed. And it's like I've encountered this thing before where I've heard people talking about like the perpetuation of the cycle of war, and that humanity is always destined for it. It's in our nature. And it's like, I do fundamentally disagree with that. And I think it's so defeatist, and I think it's so narrow-minded to think of it that way, and it's like, look, I understand, like I studied history, right? And I went to higher education and studied history. Like I get the importance of looking at history to learn. But that's my point, is that I feel like so many people have looked at history, said, we have a horrible history throughout our, time on this earth, where we have perpetrated so much violence and never learned, and the cycle has perpetuated, continued. And that is what we are destined to do going forward, because that's all that there ever has been throughout history. And it's like, no, wrong lesson to take from it, in my opinion. I'm not saying that's wrong. Obviously, if you look at history, that's undeniable, right? I'm not saying. At the same time, I feel like there's so much, nuance and information and history left out of that conclusion while looking at the future. Because it's like, yeah, sure, but also look at the last 100 years and the onset and the progression of technology, society. And I know that I've spent a lot of time talking it down and saying that, perhaps we've chosen the wrong path. And yeah, sure, but this is what I mean. This conversation, this topic is nuanced. It's not all bad. It's not all good. There are bits of everything. Anyway, what am I getting at? I should cut through it and just say what I'm trying to get towards. Such a huge conversation. I'm sorry. So many ways my brain is, going of how I can talk about this. And I'm like, no, you've got to set it up properly before you... The human race is sensitive, emotional. Yes, that can show itself in very violent tendencies, etc. We have throughout history had a lot of violence or hardship. You always get good people, you get heroes, and you get bad people, and people who want more, want to conquer, whatever. How can we possibly ever fix or counter that? Because humanity will always have those kinds of people, right? If you accept that we are only ever destined for this cycle of war, you've already lost, because that's all we'll ever have if you think that way, right? I think more and more, and you look at this kind of almost culture war now and society now, and how we have this topical warring of ideologies in the sense of progressivism and conservative tendencies. And what's at the heart of that? It's those who lean more empathetically, who talk about universal basic income, who talk about, hey, we should, modify our language to accommodate more people. We should accommodate people who have, chosen pronouns that perhaps differ from the ones that they were given when they were born. All of these different things, right? We're still as a race, and we get so caught up in the present that it's hard sometimes, I think, for people to realize that we are still, as a human race, so young, so developing, so much so that I think so often we deny what is so fundamentally a part of us, right? Core tenets of what makes us up. And we're still dealing with this today, which you go back and further. Do you think they were talking about en masse in the way that we are now? Empathy? And I'm not saying empathy didn't exist. Of course it did. Of course there have always, been empathetic people that exist. Those that understand what good and evil is. Of course. I'm talking though about general patterns en masse in humanity. Point being, we are still today as humanity vying for the softer, sensitive, empathetic sides of ourselves and trying to get everyone else to get on board with that, right? We are still developing as a human race. We do not now in the world en masse lead with empathy. We don't. That's the issue. But that is intrinsically a part of our human nature too. And look. I'm not saying we're around the corner from it. I think we're generations away from it if we ever do get there, and I don't think it's ever guaranteed that we do. But I do honestly think with better education in general all across the country, all around the world, and I still don't think we've nailed down I'm very critical of our education system in this country here. I know that have they done it already? I know they were talking about abolishing the Department of Education in the US. There's always strides to be made, always movement to be made on these things. Or still, when you look at history, you can't deny that to a large extent, we have been missing something in the development of part of our nature en masse for a long time, in a way that I think we're still dealing with now, in a way that we might not ever get to, right? I'm not saying that we're not moving towards cycles and cycles of war and war and war. That's still a possibility. I'm just saying that looking back and saying that's all that there could possibly be is wrong. Right, we are capable of so much more, and I think it's a self-defeating prophecy, because I think you look at, times past and the lack of education, the lack of certain sensitivities, the lack of awareness. God, look at the internet and the onset of the internet. I think the internet, as it is today, has only really existed and started to exist in the last decade, 10 years, which is such a small amount of time. I don't think people realize. We are still coming to grips with what it means, with the kind of coverage, the kind of way that it impacts society in the way that it does, and what that means. We're still kind of dealing with that. It's very good in certain ways, very bad in others. And anyway, sorry, there's so many threads to this topic and this conversation, and I'm trying to kind of grab as many as I can and trying to I shouldn't do that, trying to make one big thread, one big point. It's so hard to do that because it is so complex, right? And it is so wide-ranging, existential. But sorry, I got onto it because Spike's talking about it. Xander's kind of agreeing with him. Giles is kind of agreeing with him. And I think it's so easy to go down that rabbit hole and get disheartened by it. I talk a lot about how we are creatures who, we live in the material world, we live in the emotional world. We so often disregard the emotional world. And as long as we're denying that, as long as we're denying all of these ways in which we can enrich ourselves, make ourselves happier, by being more sensitive, by being more empathetic, by being emotional in ways that strengthen us in positive emotional ways. Because I know when I say emotional, you can talk about anger, which can lead to violence and war and whatever else, right? But we can always be striving to shore up these tendencies that we know exist in human nature that lead us to war. And we need to start talking about how war and the cycle of it is not inevitable. It is not inevitable. And it's weak-willed, and it's weak and simplified, and so lacking to say that it is. You're denying so much by saying that's what we're only destined for. It's defeatist. It is. I feel very passionate about it, and you can probably tell the length of this video is going to be very long. I think what we're dealing with in this episode branches out into such a huge topic that I know there's so much contention for. There's going to be people who are listening to me talking about this and calling me naive. And I get it. I get it. I'm not saying that, like I say, we're going to fix it tomorrow. We're not. But incrementally, we can always do better. We can always be better. People talk about how tiresome it can get, even just changing a phrase and all of these phrases and whatever it might be. But the only reason you feel that way is because we've got so much wrong. and we've made and done things so poorly, and there's nothing wrong with critically looking at the way we've done things before and saying we should change that. And that's the core of this episode. And people get so overwhelmed when it comes to stuff like pronouns, and it's like the only reason that we have such an issue today with pronouns in the way that people rile against it is because we so strictly and have so strictly formulated a structure in society around pronouns that don't accommodate everybody. We made that mistake as a society, and now we're trying to right it, and so many people are so stuck in it that they're so unwilling to just quite easily, quite simply go, oh yeah, sure. And God, I'm sorry, I can't now go into pronouns and that whole conversation because I've stopped and I've talked for quite a while. But God, if there's one thing we take from this episode, it's not to listen to Spike. It's not to look at Giles going and accept that. I get where Spike's coming from. It's not the end of the story though. It's not. And it's disingenuous not to take that thread of logic and keep going and go further with it. Spike's saying this, and this. And it's like, okay, go further. Stop being lazy. You know, the people that are looking at history and saying, well, we've have this perpetuated cycle of war and death, and so we're never going to get out of that. We're destined for that. It's in our DNA. Lazy. It's lazy. Go further. You know, don't stop just because that's all you see. Because there's more there, right? There's more in humanity. There's more that makes us up than war and death and murder. We are so much more. We're so much more. We're love and kindness and happiness. And God, would it kill people to make that the things that we build ourselves around?
Leave that one. I think I can eat someone if he's already dead. You know what happens to vampires who don't get to feed?
I always wondered that, actually.
Skeletons, mate.
Oh, kind of want to see it. Sorry, Spike.
It's gonna be a nice, quiet, civilized.
Okay.
We're trying to help.
What's going on?
Okay. I mean, as long as they miss your heart, you're
Hey, what's
That was very close. Oh, God.
Willow.
Okay. Hi.
Angel?
Yeah. Angel.
He's evil again. I'm not evil again. Why does everyone think that? I haven't been evil for a long time.
Nice, mate. Well done. You're doing good.
He's a warrior. To a warrior, the leader means the strongest fighter.
Buff. Yeah.
You need a plan? Yes, let's talk about it some more.
Ow.
Hey, sorry about that, Chief.
Amazing.
Ow!
I am here for this gag.
Giles, these guys, they don't die.
Busy over here.
Yeah, not ideal, really. You gotta get in there, dude. Ouch.
What's he like when he is evil?
Hey, we got a Spike Angel reunion too. Nice. Through the window.
Your knife can kill you.
Oh.
Oh, there!
Yep. Okay. Do you know what I did in the Halloween episode? I guessed that the trouble was a bear, and I was a few episodes too early. That's fair. Just saying. Alright. I sensed it. What was that? Yeah. This is the thing. There was only really one way the episode could go based on the way it was kind of written, and I feel like that was problematic. You know, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's only one way it could have really gone with this kind of story. So it's like, I feel like in the conception stage, while good intentions, maybe they should have not.
What happened? Did we win? Well, violence does that, you know. Instinct takes over.
Sure.
Wasn't exactly a perfect Thanksgiving.
Yeah, could say that.
And you know what? I think my syphilis is clearing right up.
Oh my God.
Romance is dead.
Yeah, what a line. You know, look, on the flip side, I can imagine this episode gets people talking about it. For that alone, is it worth it?
But at least we all worked together. It was like old times.
Especially with Angel being here and everything.
Duh. I fit Spike's face. The way the dialogue's written, it feels like the writers know they're starting a fire with this episode, and they're just kind of like, here's the fire, put it out if you want. They're kind of just going, huh, there you go, I'm out, I'm going. That's kind of a little bit of the sense that I get. Hey God, what an episode, eh? Look, this is gonna be a very long video. I think for the sake of posterity, I'll just make it as long as it needs to be and keep as much in as, I mean, same as usual. I usually just kind of keep as much in as I want to keep in and I want to say, and or as much as I have to say. Yeah, I think probably a contentious one. I think people did make comments on my Patreon and my YouTube memberships on the last episode about this one being a bit of a mixed bag or being contentious or one that people have a lot to say about. I see why. As to where I come down on it, yeah, I think I've kind of repeated a little bit about how I don't feel like this show is perhaps the best place for this story, just because they shoehorned themselves into a place where they could do nothing else other than one of two things. And I say that generously, because one of two things, one of one thing. They shoehorn themselves into basically being able to only really resolve it in one way. And I think they tried to make up for it by being like, look, we're being conscientious, we're having the discussion, we're having Willow and Giles duke it out and bringing up all of this stuff. And it's like, that's good. Is it enough? Is there, you know what I mean? Is it really that deep? Is it, you know, is it just a thing? But that's what I mean. It's like, can you really tackle it properly? Yeah, I'm sure from person to person. Let me know in the comments. It goes either way. I believe in everything that I've said and all of the points that I've raised. You know, you can kind of talk about it from the perspective of like, it's good that they're tackling it. They're clearly coming at it from a place that is a bit more sensitive. Is the way they did it perfect? No. Could the way they did it ever be perfect? No. So it's like, yeah. I've talked enough. I've talked a lot. So yeah, I'll leave that there. But that was episode 8. I hope you enjoyed the video at least. I know that people are going to disagree, agree, whatever. All I can hope for and all that I ask is people, as much as this is a very passionate topic, I understand that. Please, please, please try to keep it civil in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video. Please do leave a comment. I'm sure, like I say, this is the kind of episode that incites discussion. It should be. So yeah, feel free to do that. But yeah, thank you as always to my members, my patrons. Genuinely, thank you so much for your support. There are some links down in the description below for early access to all my videos if you're hankering for the next one. My gaming channel's down there too. But God, that's it. That's Slayer Saturday done for one more week. Angel coming next time. Light touch on the crossover, to be honest. So yeah, perhaps we're going to get deeper into that as we go. Maybe so. But yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. But that's it from me this weekend. I'll see you in the next one.